everybody, this is Heather here with another hidden history exploration. I found something really cool today and I'm so excited to show you. It's right behind me. I'm hiding it with my head until I make the big reveal. But yesterday I wrote an article on the things that are hidden beneath North Carolina lakes. So for example, we got Carr Lake has a train hidden underneath it. We've got Lake Norman with an airplane underneath it, as well as many other historic remnants. And in fact, I think the piece of a battlefield from the Revolutionary War is also underneath where that lake is today. And today I'm at Lake Jordan, or Jordan Lake. Many people come out here every year to go fishing and go on their kayaks, and there's even people out here today fishing. It's a really pretty day to be out here, and I was told about a location where there's a road that runs right into the lake. It's even cooler than the one, if you saw the one for Falls Lake, this one's even cooler. So I can't wait to show you. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of things that are beneath our man-made lakes that you wouldn't expect to find there. So I'm going to turn things around now and let you see. Does it? Yes. Tanisha, I see you say about Carr Lake has a farm underneath it. If you have ideas of other things that I can talk about, please feel free to let me know. Also, if you want to read this article with more pictures and more in-depth explanation, you can go onto wral.com, go into the Don't Miss It section, and you'll find my story. And then, of course, I've linked to it here as well in the post. So let me turn around. I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at. It's really cool. So as you can see here, this is a road that goes out into the lake almost like a pier. I'm going to show you where I came from real quick just so you can get an idea of where I am. So I'm out here in the woods. Had to take a little bit of a hike to get here, but that's how it works when you're exploring these types of abandoned places. How to get to this road? Yeah, I can tell you how to get to this one only because it is open to the public. If it's something that's not open to the public, I will not normally tell you how to get there. But if it's something that people come to all the time, sure. I think people use this as a place to kick off for kayaks. So here, oh gosh, Kelly, that's really sad. So right here, we're walking out on this road. Now, what I want to tell you about Jordan Lake is there's a lot of stuff underneath Jordan Lake. Is there really a house on Jordan Lake? So what it is there was a rural community that used to be built out here. In fact, there were several. They were named communities, but most of them weren't even cities or villages yet. They were just named communities. A whole city, Sarah? Yeah, there's the remains of an entire rural communities. So Seaforth is the one that is just a dot in the middle of the lake now. There's also Friendship. And then New Hill, I drove through to get here, but parts of it, I believe, are under the water as well. They raised a lot of the buildings when they filled in the lake, but for many years, these buildings sat here abandoned while they were waiting to fill in the lake. And people did come out and explore all the old abandoned farms. In fact, when I was driving out here, I saw lots of old style abandoned homes that I would guess were probably part of that lost community. And I'll put some of those pictures. Yeah, there's this old bike out here too. Thanks for noticing. This was the first thing I saw when I came out here. I really wonder how old this is. There's this little, looks like a children's bike, just hanging out at the end of the road here. So you can see here, I want to show you how much of this road goes out into the water. So if you watched, I did an article recently on Falls Lake and an abandoned stretch of highway that goes through the woods and out into the lake. It did not go out this far. You can really see the ledge as the road sort of ends and then just falls off. And it does that on both sides. You can even see places where the road is crumbling from years of being out here. What a fish to catch, a bike, huh? I'm seeing some of your comments and responding. If you have questions, please feel free to comment. And if you want to learn more about this, go to wral.com, go to Don't Miss It, and my whole story is under there, is under that category. Yes, I have heard that many of the owners that lived out here, so this whole area was a flourishing farm community, as you might imagine, because this area used to flood heavily. This would have been the New Hope Valley. And I'll tell you, actually, back in the 1700s, New Hope Valley didn't have this big lake here, obviously, and it was nearly impossible to cross the valley. It really helped prevent colonists from coming further west into the state. This was the dividing line, until one unlucky farmer inherited land on both sides of the valley, and he had to end up building a bridge just to get across. But it turned out to be a great turn of luck, because he had the only bridge to get across the valley. He could charge whatever he wanted, and people had to pay the toll. So that is the history of this area. It was a valley, and it flooded all the time. And because it flooded, it had really great rich soil, and so a lot of farmers were here. But in 1945, I believe, there was a big hurricane that came through, and it was just kind of the last straw. And they decided to go ahead and flood this area, but that didn't happen until the 60s. Now, I see some of you talking about the graves. Obviously, that is something that a lot of people want to know about. Are there graves beneath Jordan Lake? I have talked to family members who had family who owned property here, and I've heard several things. Think about it this way. If you had a family farm that you've had for generations, and your great-great-great-great-grandmother was buried, and you were going to have to pay to exhume all those graves, and you don't even necessarily know the people, and it's going to be expensive, and it's going to disturb them, some families did choose not to remove the graves and have them put on drier land. So yes, based on oral history and what people have said, there should be graves underneath Jordan Lake. I'm not going to go into legend and lore, but there is a story that's written. It's a storybook, but it's about the ghosts of Jordan Lake, based on that idea that there are graves. Again, it's just a story, but I think it's an interesting cultural addition to this lake out here. I'm going to quickly turn this around one more time. I want to let you see, again, how far out you're having to walk on this road. And many of these rural areas, the Pea Ridge community was lost as well. Families that had owned farms for generations had to lose their farms. And for many families, it was really hard. And for others, I'm sure it was not as difficult of a decision. It really just depends on who you were. I want to show you where the road goes into the lake. Hopefully, I won't go into the lake. But yeah, so you can see that the road continues out there. And the road, I believe, based on maps, when it was here, it would have continued, follow my finger, to there. So when you see that little peninsula over there sticking out, based on maps, I'm able to see that the rest of the road is over there. And there should be another place kind of like this on that side. But it's harder to reach that one. So a lot more hiking, and I think the road isn't paved anymore. So I chose this one. It's a little bit easier to get to. So if you want to know more about this story, I definitely encourage you to check out my latest article. It's about things that are hidden beneath North Carolina lakes that you wouldn't expect. I do talk about not just Jordan Lake, even though that is a particular piece of history that I've studied quite a lot. But I also talk about a train that is underneath Carr Lake. There's a train under there, and an airplane that is underneath Lake Norman. Also, Lake Norman is known for having Normie, which is North Carolina's version of the Loch Ness Monster. So there's a fun legend attached to that. And then there's another lake out in the mountains, and I haven't added this to the story yet, but someone sent it to me. And Nicholas, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Nicholas, I see you saying about the Raleigh Speedway. I actually did do a live stream and a story on the Raleigh Speedway. So if you want to look for that, just do a search for WRAL and Raleigh Speedway and it should come up, or it looks like Bob Leah might send you a link. That's my dad. He's watching my stream. So yes, we have done the Raleigh Speedway. If you have any ideas for stories you'd like to see done, please send me an email. My email is in the bottom of each story I do, and you can send me ideas. I love looking for places to explore. I genuinely love going out and exploring these abandoned places and then getting to show people some of these things that they may never see, except for through a live stream. Isn't that just a... Look at that. To imagine that this used to just be a road and woods and farms, and now there's just this chunk of road that just comes right out into the lake. It's pretty amazing. John, I see what you're talking about, the water getting low a couple of years ago. Yes, some of these lakes, Lake Fontana is underwater camera. Anthony, I see you asking for an underwater camera. Maybe. if I can figure out where to get one, and I would love to do that and show you more investigative stuff here. So I'm gonna turn around real quick so I could say bye to you guys. I also wanted to mention, it's gonna be put in the story soon, but someone told me about Lake Fontana in the mountains has, from what they've told me, and I need to investigate it, but from what I've been told, Lake Fontana actually has remnants of buildings and actual pieces of structure still under the lake. And that's I think it's the town of Judson that's under there. And I'm going to add that to the story once I do a little bit of research, because I think that sounds fascinating. I've been told that they lower that lake every now and then, and when they do, you can see pieces of the town that are still under there. So that sounds really interesting. But that is not Jordan Lake. But Jordan Lake does also have, pieces and remnants of farms and things beneath it. A lot of it was raised, but you can still occasionally find pieces of abandoned things out in the woods. I'll put some pictures up, but I saw several abandoned farms and houses that were very, very old as I was driving through the area leading to Jordan Lake. So you can still see that this is an area that used to have a lot more here than it does today. So if you have any ideas, please go ahead and send me any ideas for hidden history. I love hidden history. I am a 5th generation Raleighite myself, and I'm very passionate about preserving stories that don't necessarily make it into the history books and that would be forgotten by time if we don't preserve them ourselves. I've had people send me old photos of their family from 1911, things that are treasures that are in your own home, and you don't realize how extremely valuable to history those things are. So if you have ideas, please let me know. And I will be back again probably next weekend with more hidden history. I have lots more exploring to show you, and I'm very excited to be part of that with you. Send me your ideas. Check out the story online, WRAL.com. Go to the Don't Miss It section, and you'll see the stories of Carr Lake and Lake Norman as well, and more information about Jordan Lake. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.